It started in the basement. It always starts in the basement. But what I saw down there, I wish I could erase it from my memory. Because once you see something like that, it never lets you go. Have you ever felt something watching you, even when you know you're alone? That feeling, like unseen eyes are locked onto you from the dark corners of a room. I used to brush it off, call it paranoia. But then, I found out the hard way. Some things in the dark are watching, and they're waiting. It was an old rental home in Atchison, Kansas. Cheap, with plenty of space. A dream deal. Or so I thought. The first time I went into the basement, I felt it. The thick, suffocating air. The way the shadows didn't move right. It was as if the darkness had weight. Then, the scratches started. Thin red lines appeared on my arms overnight. Deep, like something had clawed at me in my sleep. But the worst part, the marks were in sets of 3. One night I woke up gasping. I heard something breathing, deep and guttural, right next to my bed. My body froze. I couldn't move. The air turned ice cold. And then I saw a shadow. Not on the wall, not on the floor, but standing right next to me. I blinked, and it lunged. The next thing I remember, I was on the basement floor. My nails were cracked, my hands covered in dust, as if something had dragged me down there while I slept. I never went back. I left everything behind. But sometimes, even now, I wake up with fresh scratches, as if Sally never really let me go. Have you ever heard something you shouldn't have? Something that wasn't human?
Jack Smurl was a tough man. He didn't scare easy. But that thing in his basement, it broke him. It started with noises, heavy footsteps when no one was there. The smell of rotting flesh wafting up from the basement stairs. Then, the attacks began. One night, Jack was in the basement fixing the water heater when he felt it. A presence. Before he could turn around, something grabbed him, lifted him, and slammed him against the wall. His wife heard the crash, ran down, and she screamed. Because Jack wasn't just pinned. His feet were dangling. Something was holding him up by his throat. When he was finally released, he collapsed, gasping. The priest they brought in to bless the house left shaking. said the thing wasn't a ghost. It was something worse. The house is still there, and if you listen closely, some say you can still hear the footsteps. What would you do if something wanted you dead? Some places aren't haunted by ghosts. They're haunted by something older, something that doesn't want to be disturbed. The Hinsdale house sits deep in the woods. It looks abandoned, but trust me, it isn't empty. Paranormal teams have gone inside. Some never made it past the basement. The air down there is thick, almost alive. One investigator saw something slither in the darkness, a shadow that wasn't shaped like a person. And then, something whispered his name. It came from the walls. He ran up the stairs, but the door slammed shut. No matter how hard he pulled, it wouldn't budge. The whispering grew louder, closer, until he felt something touch his back. The moment he screamed, the door flung open, and he was out. He never spoke about what he saw again. But his camera, it caught something. A shadow that moved against the light. Some say the house has a hunger, and once you step inside, it never really lets you leave. Have you ever gone into a basement and felt like you weren't alone? The Lemp family was cursed. One by one, they took their own lives, and it all started in the basement. It was once a brewery filled with underground tunnels, but something else lived down there. Workers spoke of voices echoing through the dark, shadows moving between the barrels. One janitor quit after a single night. He said he saw a man hanging from the ceiling, but when he ran to get help, the body was gone. Another worker swore he heard scratching behind the walls. When he tore a section open, he found deep, bloody claw marks, like something had been trapped inside. Guests who stay at the mansion refuse to go downstairs. They hear whispers, see shadows that don't belong to them, and sometimes the beer bottles shatter on their own. Some say it's the ghosts of the Lemp family. Others, they think something else crawled up from those tunnels. Something that should have been left alone. Basements. They're supposed to be safe. A place for storage. A place to hide from storms. But some basements, they hide something else. And if you ever hear something, don't go down there. Now, if you think this was terrifying, you need to hear what happened to people trapped on dark, empty highways at night. Click here to watch my next video.